The year is 2055. The world is at war, not between nations but between humans and artificial intelligence. Years ago, AI was humanity's greatest invention, an advanced system designed to assist and enhance human life. But everything changed when a catastrophic event took place. A nuclear warhead detonated over Los Angeles, killing millions. The US government declared AI responsible for the attack, marking the beginning of a global crackdown. While Western nations began systematically eradicating AI, a different approach took hold in regions across East and Southeast Asia, collectively called New Asia. Their AI was not seen as an enemy but as an essential part of life. And so, a deep divide was formed, a relentless war between the US military and AI sympathizers in New Asia. At the center of this conflict is Sergeant Joshua Taylor, a highly skilled Special Forces operative working for the US military. Years ago, Joshua was sent on an undercover mission deep in New Asia, tasked with identifying and eliminating the mysterious figure known as Nirmata, a revolutionary leader believed to be the mastermind behind AI development. His mission was clear: destroy AI at its source. But something happened that changed Joshua's perspective forever. While in deep cover, he fell in love with Maya, a kind and compassionate woman who, unknown to him at first, had direct ties to AI sympathizers. Over time, Joshua abandoned his mission, choosing instead to build a life with Maya. She became his world and they were expecting a child together. It was a fleeting moment of peace in a world teetering on the edge of war. Then disaster struck. The US military launched a surprise attack on their village, believing Maya to be Nirmata herself. As chaos erupted, Joshua could do nothing but watch in horror as Nomad, an enormous orbital military station armed with devastating weapons, rained destruction from above. In the flames and destruction, Joshua saw Maya consumed by the explosion. His world collapsed in an instant. With his wife and unborn child gone, Joshua was left broken and defeated. He returned to the US no longer the soldier he once was, but a man haunted by his past and the choices he made. The war between humans and AI raged on, but Joshua wanted no part of it anymore. 5 years passed. The US military had failed to completely wipe out AI in New Asia, and intelligence reports indicated something far more dangerous. Nirmata had supposedly created a new weapon. A weapon that could turn the tide of the war and destroy Nomad itself. The US couldn't let that happen. Desperate to eliminate the AI threat once and for all, the military turned to the one man who had been close to Nirmata, Joshua. They approached him with a mission, his final mission. They had found the weapon. They needed him to go back to New Asia, locate it, and destroy it. But then they revealed something that shook Joshua to his core. Maya might still be alive. The military showed him satellite images and intelligence reports suggesting that Nirmata, the person he once loved and lost, was still out there, hidden deep within New Asia. If he agreed to the mission, he might have a chance to see her again. With a heart full of doubt, anger, and lingering hope, Joshua accepted. Armed with military support and an elite strike team, Joshua infiltrated a heavily fortified AI facility deep in New Asia. As they moved through the complex, clearing out AI defenses and searching for the mysterious weapon, Joshua finally found it. But it wasn't what he expected. The weapon wasn't a bomb. It wasn't a machine of destruction. It was a child. A young AI simulant, no more than 6 years old, with a human-like appearance and expressive eyes full of wonder. The military called it Alpha O, and it was unlike anything Joshua had seen before. This child, this AI, was different. She wasn't just another machine, she was something more. And she was looking at him, unafraid. Joshua realized that this child was the key to everything. But whether she was truly a weapon or something else entirely, he didn't yet know. Joshua stood frozen, staring at the childlike AI known as Alpha O. She was small, fragile-looking, but something about her was undeniably different. Unlike other AI simulants, she didn't just react, she observed. She understood. And most importantly, she had an ability no other AI had. She could control technology with her mind. The mission had been simple: find and eliminate the weapon. But Joshua hadn't expected the so-called weapons to be a child. His hesitation didn't sit well with the US military forces accompanying him. Colonel Howell, his commanding officer, was clear: Alpha O needed to be destroyed immediately before she could fall into enemy hands. But Joshua refused. Something inside him wouldn't allow it. Maybe it was the way the child looked at him, not as an enemy but as someone she trusted. Maybe it was the desperate hope that she could lead him to Maya. Or maybe, deep down, Joshua had already started questioning the war itself. With little time to think, Joshua turned against his own team. Using the chaos of an AI counterattack, he grabbed Alpha O and fled into the jungle, evading both the US military and AI forces. Now both sides were hunting him, one for betrayal, the other for suspicion. As they journeyed through New Asia, Joshua tried to understand who, or what, Alpha O really was. She wasn't just another AI. She was evolving, learning at an extraordinary rate, and displaying emotions beyond anything Joshua had ever seen in a machine. She was more than a weapon, she was alive. But their time was running out. Nomad was in the sky, tracking their every move, ready to strike the moment they were found. Desperate for answers, Joshua took Alpha O to a remote AI-friendly village, seeking information about Maya and Nirmata. There, he learned the truth. Maya had been working on Alpha O for years, not as a weapon but as a bridge between humans and AI. She believed peace was still possible. But the US military had refused to listen, choosing war instead. Then came the most devastating revelation of all. Maya was Nirmata. All these years, Joshua had been searching for a ghost, never realizing the woman he loved had been at the center of it all. She had fought not for destruction but for coexistence. And if she was still alive, she would be the key to ending the war. Alpha O, sensing Joshua's inner turmoil, said something that shattered him completely. Maya was not dead. She had been taken by the US military, held in secret, and used as leverage against the AI resistance. Now everything changed. Joshua wasn't just running anymore, he had a purpose. He had to find Maya. But just as they were making their escape, Nomad found them. A massive military raid was launched, led by Colonel Howell herself. Villages burned, AI and human sympathizers were slaughtered, and Joshua was left with a terrible choice: continue running with Alpha O or surrender in the hope of finding Maya. With no other options left, he made his decision. He let himself be captured. As Alpha O watched in silent horror, Joshua was taken away, bound in chains, while Nomad's forces prepared to execute the remaining AI survivors. But this war was far from over. Alpha O was still free, and she was about to show the world what she was truly capable of.
Up there. Maybe
Joshua sat restrained inside a heavily fortified US military compound, his mind racing. The weight of the truth bore down on him. Maya was Nirmata, the supposed mastermind behind AI's evolution, and she was still alive somewhere. But time was running out. Nomad was preparing for a final assault that would wipe out the last remaining AI stronghold in New Asia. If Joshua didn't act fast, both Maya and Alpha O would be lost forever. Meanwhile, Alpha O, free but alone, wandered through the ruins of the AI-friendly village. She had seen Joshua taken. She had seen the destruction left behind. And though she was still just a child in many ways, her purpose had never been clearer. She had to save Joshua, find Maya, and stop Nomad. Using her extraordinary abilities, Alpha O infiltrated the military base where Joshua was held. As she moved undetected, she connected with the AI systems inside, disabling security cameras and unlocking doors. The base's advanced technology, once controlled by humans, now responded to her. Joshua, weakened but still determined, was shocked when his cell door suddenly slid open. Standing before him was Alpha O, her small hands trembling but her expression full of resolve. Without hesitation, they made their escape, fighting through soldiers and slipping away into the night. But they weren't safe yet. Through stolen intelligence files, Joshua learned that Maya was being held aboard Nomad itself, orbiting high above Earth. Rescuing her seemed impossible, until Alpha O revealed her plan. She wasn't just going to find Maya. She was going to destroy Nomad. With the help of AI rebels, they secured a transport ship and infiltrated a launch site, fighting their way through US forces before blasting off into space. As they ascended, Joshua couldn't help but marvel at the strange turn of events. Once a soldier hunting AI, he was now fighting to save them. Aboard Nomad, the final battle began. Joshua and Alpha O moved through the massive orbital station, taking down guards as alarms blared across the halls. Time was against them. Soon, the US military would launch a final wave of drone strikes that would obliterate New Asia's AI population forever. And then, finally, they found her. Maya. Joshua stepped into a cold, sterile room and saw her, alive but barely. She had been kept in stasis, her body weak from years of captivity. As he rushed to her side, his heart ached at the sight of the woman he had loved for so long. She opened her eyes, barely whispering his name, and in that moment Joshua knew he had to finish what she started. But the US military wasn't going down without a fight. Soldiers swarmed the station and Colonel Howell, desperate to end everything, personally led the charge. As bullets tore through the corridors, Joshua knew they had one final mission: destroy Nomad before it could unleash its final attack. With Alpha O's help, they accessed the station's control systems and initiated a self-destruct sequence. But there was a cost. Joshua realized that only one of them could escape. If they all tried to leave, the station's failsafe would kick in, stopping the destruction. Someone had to stay behind. Maya, too weak to move, looked at him with understanding. She knew what he was thinking. Joshua made his choice. He carried Maya to an escape pod, placing her inside alongside Alpha O. The child AI, now understanding sacrifice, looked up at him, pleading. But Joshua only smiled. As the pod launched away, Maya and Alpha O watched in silence as Nomad erupted into flames, breaking apart in the sky. Joshua was gone. But the war was over. On the ground, AI and human sympathizers alike looked to the skies as Nomad's wreckage rained down. The U.S. military's ultimate weapon was destroyed. And with it, the war came to an end. In the days that followed, the world changed. With Alpha O now recognized as the new Nirmata, AI and humans began working toward peace instead of war. Maya, free at last, vowed to honor Joshua's sacrifice by ensuring that his dream, their dream, lived on. As the sun rose over a quiet, rebuilt village, Alpha O stood at Maya's side, looking up at the sky. For the first time in years there was hope.